special presentation.
The words Montreal Canadiens champions are etched all over the Stanley Cup, including a remarkable 23rd time last June, after Patrick Waugh raised hockey's holy grail in celebration. Waugh was and is the foundation of this young Canadian team. Their quest begins again tonight against longtime foe Boston, whom Montreal has battled and KO'd 21 different times in the playoffs. The Boston Bruins have been plagued by injuries this season, but held together by slick centerman Adam Oates, who gets the puck to you when and where you need it. Oates finished the regular season third in the league in points. But Ray Bourque is the heart and soul of the Bruins. He's missed the last 11 games with a sprained knee. But Bourque is dressing tonight and ready to lead the Bruins on a journey they have not finished in 22 years. The quest for the Cup begins tonight on ESPN. ESPN welcomes you to historic Boston Garden for the first game of the 1994 Stanley Cup playoffs. It's game one of the Eastern Conference quarterfinal series between the Montreal Canadiens and the Boston Bruins. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, and it's great to have you with us. If you're a hockey fan, the best time of the year is about to begin. The Boston Bruins managed to earn the final home ice spot of the Eastern Conference playoffs, despite playing half the year without Cam Neely, and the last 11 games of the regular season without their standout defenseman, Ray Bourque. He's been sidelined with a sprained right knee. But Bourque will return to action tonight against Montreal. We asked Ray about his readiness for tonight's battle.
Well, I figured
I've skated with the team the last couple of days, and things have gone well in practice, so I think I could go out there and help the team. Whether it be power play, I think I'm going to be playing even strength, so I'm not 100%, but I think I could be effective out there.
I'm joined by Brian Engblom, and certainly Ray Bourque at less than 100% is still what Brian Sutter has been looking to see on his squad.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Ray Bourque is an unbelievable player. Four-time Norris Trophy winner. He's been an all-star 14 straight times. And one of the biggest things about Ray Bourque is he quarterbacks their power play. The Boston Bruins scored 80 power play goals when he was in the lineup. Ray Bourque was on the ice for 79 of them. He can quarterback the power play all right.
Coming into tonight's game, Ray Bourque's health was only the second biggest concern for Bruins fans. The big question tonight was which goaltender would be in the nets. Would it be John Casey, number one for most of the year, but struggling lately, or Vincent Riendo, who played well in starting the last 3 regular season games?
Well, we were wondering, Sean, right up until the players came out for the warm-up, which one it was going to be. John Casey is the man who's going to be in the net tonight for Boston. 30 wins, 2.88 goals against, 8.81 save percentage. John Casey has been a little maligned in the papers here, in the local Boston papers. They talked about his Technicolor 5-hole. That's really hitting deep, so there's a lot of pressure on John Casey. At the other end of the ice, Patrick Waugh. All the accolades have been dished upon Patrick Waugh. He has a mystique about him almost. A 2-time MVP in the playoffs. He's won 2 Stanley Cups. He's like an invisible wall in the net. I think he may be the best goaltender on the planet.
Brian Sutter, the Bruins coach, says that he is tonight. Waugh tries to lead Montreal to back-to-back Stanley Cups as they begin on that trail against Ray Bourque and the Boston Bruins. The 15-year veteran Bourque still looking for his first Stanley Cup championship. The opening face-off from Boston in a moment.
Any mulching mower can chop up grass, but the Honda Harmony lawnmower has an exclusive twin blade that cuts grass into fine particles and returns them to your lawn as fertilizer. There's no need to bag or dump clippings, and you get a better end result. The Honda Harmony mulching mower. Nothing's easier.
They're called the red-cockaded woodpecker, and there aren't many of the birds left. It was my company, Georgia Pacific, that came up with the plan to protect them. We're out here finding nesting sites, then creating safe areas around them. Areas we leave undisturbed, just to make sure the red-cockaded woodpecker will always be here. It makes me feel pretty good about what I do and about the company I work for.
It's a deep shot to right. Can they go back
Tomorrow, Orioles versus the Rangers.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs. The magic of the 93 Stanley Cup Playoffs is yours forever with this power-packed video. You'll cheer the overtime victories, last-second dramas, and hockey star-studded performances. You'll find all the spectacular players and plays in the official 93 Stanley Cup video. To order for $19.95 plus $4.95 shipping, use your credit card and call 1-800-688-1991. That's 1-800-688-1991.
NHL hockey has long been called a playoff sport, maybe the best of all the playoff sports, and the playoffs are here. Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Levy as we begin our National Hockey Night postseason coverage here on ESPN. It's Boston and Montreal. That's coming up as they open the playoffs at Boston Garden. Sean McDonough and Brian Engblom coming up from Boston Garden just seconds away from the opening faceoff. What a finish it was for the regular season. You could say, oh, what a finish. Lots of questions were answered in the final regular season games. The Islanders waited until the 83rd game before eliminating Florida. Steve Thomas, a pair of goals that actually looked alike, provided all the scoring Wednesday in a 2-zip win at Tampa to clinch a spot. Final regular season game at Chicago Stadium Tuesday. Wendell Clark's 2 goals helped the Leafs wrap up the 3 seed in the West. The 6-4 win ensuring a Toronto-Chicago first-round matchup. And here's the way it all shakes out in the East. Battle of New York will continue on, the 8th Battle of New York in the history. Pittsburgh and Washington, New Jersey and Buffalo, and Boston and Montreal, which you will see game 1 to open tonight. Out west, high-scoring Detroit against Archers, Irbe, and San Jose. Calgary and Vancouver have had some great postseason battles in the past. Toronto and Chicago, and Dallas and St. Louis. But up next, the Montreal Canadiens, the defending Stanley Cup champs, put it on the line against their arch rivals, the Boston Bruins. First period action coming up from Boston Garden on a playoff edition of National Hockey Night.
Calling collect. You've got options. You can dial 0 like this guy.
Hi, Mommy. I rode on the plane all by myself.
Did I mention you'll be charged as much as you possibly can for this call?
Or
You can dial 1-800-COLLECT. Here's how it works. Dial 1-800-COLLECT. Yeah, I just saved you some cash. You're welcome. Love you. Called Mom Collect, huh? You know, you could have saved up to 44% by dialing 1-800-COLLECT.
Can you find it in your heart to forgive me?
Grab your sunscreen and get ready for a scorching spring because Honda's Red Hot Deal Days are back at your local Honda dealer, and they're hotter than ever with great deals on red-hot new Hondas, along with demo rides, zero-down financing on many models, free service inspections and appraisals, helmet trade-ins, free Honda hats, and a whole lot more. You better get moving. Honda's Red Hot Deal Days end April 30th. Don't let it pass you by.
Tonight, somewhere amongst the important documents, the catch of the day, the tools, the toys, there is one package more priceless than all the rest. The golden package. It must be watched over, and come what may, it must complete its journey as promised. But which one is it? No one knows which one is the golden package, so every package will be treated as if it were.
If you're looking for a reliable place to service your car or truck, I've got great news for you. It's a Pep Boys Automotive Super Center. No matter what you drive, their ASE-certified technicians are here when you need them, day or night, even on Sunday. For Rebestus brakes, DRW rack and pinion repair, diagnostic tune-ups, even air conditioning. For dealer-quality service at prices you can afford, come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. By EA Sports, makers of real sports video games. If it's in the game, it's in the game. And by AT&T, we help put your world within reach.
Last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly
Rene Rancourt with a stirring rendition of both the Canadian and American national anthems here at Boston Garden, where the Bruins and Canadiens are about to get the playoffs underway in 1994. Patrick Waugh in the Montreal net, the 28-year-old in his 9th NHL season. He played in 68 games during the regular season. That is a personal single-season high. And at the other end, it will be John Casey, somewhat of a controversial choice here in Boston. Casey has played well in spots during the regular season, but is not a fan favorite, acquired by Boston in the offseason for the popular Andy Mould. Boston with the home white. Montreal the visiting red. Mark Fawcett, the referee, and we're underway. Randy Midden, Jay Shard are the linesmen. And right off the opening faceoff, an icing call against Montreal.
There he is, Ray Bourque. What a hockey player this guy is, and Boston is so happy to have him back in the lineup. He missed the last 11 games of the regular season with a sprained knee. 4-time Norris Trophy winner. He can hardly wait to start.
15th year in the NHL, but he is still lacking the Stanley Cup championship. It's the only thing in his career that he hasn't accomplished. He's a native of Montreal. Matter of fact, the Canadiens could not practice yesterday in the Montreal Forum due to the booking of a rock concert. They had to have their skates in the suburbs at the Raymond Bourque Arena.
How's that for atmosphere? Jacques Demers, the coach of the Canadiens, was laughing about that. That's right. They were kicked out of the Montreal Forum and ended up practicing rather in the Ray Bourque Arena in St. Laurent.
Steve Hines, number 23 for Boston, tried to feed it into the corner. It was broken up by Guy Carbonneau, the captain of the Canadiens. Now Hines shoots and missed the short side. He was set up by Brian Smolinski. Ed Donato flips it back behind the net for Boston. Taken there by Matthew Snyder. An outstanding year. He turned it over to Donato. Donato tried to poke it into the short side. Waugh shut it off. Carbonneau and Hines to the near boards. Donato was knocked down by Snyder. Carbonneau to Leclerc. He cleared it past Bourque. We played 45 seconds. In the first period, no score. 28 times Montreal and Boston have met in the playoffs. Met more often than any tandem in NHL playoff history. Montreal has dominated the playoff series all time. But Boston has won the last 3. Dave Reed, number 17, got into the zone for Boston, sent back out by Ernst Desjardins. Both teams careful as the puck passed by their bench, and they were in the midst of line changes.
Everybody's going to want to get into the lineup real quick and get some action out there, get some hitting going. That gets you into it and gets rid of those nerves as quickly as possible.
Ally Frady's long pass for Adam Oates didn't connect. Desjardins shoveled it to the near board. Benoit Brunet worked it out to center ice, slipped into the left wing corner by Mike Keane, and Frady's on it. Around the boards, not out. Now Reed able to clear. At Oates handed the pass, he would have been one-on-one on J.J. Daigneault. Keane sent to slip it back in. He's played nearly 2 minutes here in the first period, no score. Glenn Wesley, forechecked by Paul DiPietro. Now DiPietro pushed off the puck by Frady. Here's Dave Reed across his own line. And that'll be an icing call unless Murray could get there, and he did not. Evan Haller beat him to the puck.
Well, for the Montreal Canadiens, they're playing on this smaller ice surface, and everything happens a lot faster here in Boston Garden than it does in the Montreal Forum. Most of these Montreal players are used to that, but that's the secret to this game and to this series. Be quick inside your own blue line.
Montreal in the playoffs for the 68th time in 77 years, and they're here for the 24th consecutive year. They won the Cup under Jacques Demers last year in his first year as head coach of the Canadiens. He's the 5th coach to win the Cup with Montreal in his first season as head coach. DiPietro will take the face-off with Joseph Stumple. Controlled by Montreal, Lyle Odline. Bothered lately by his shoulder and threw it back in the lineup tonight. Now Brian Bellows tried to throw it toward the net. Bourque blocked it. Bellows couldn't handle along the board. Stumble played it along the top. Brent Hughes interfered with Paul DiPietro. Sweeney's shot off the blocker of Waugh into the corner. Odline up the board. Kept in by Hughes. Now Murray behind the net. Former first-round draft pick checked into the boards hard, managed to center, and it was deflected away from Brent Hughes. Vincent Domfus, the Canadiens' leading scorer. Lost it as he crossed the line. Hughes couldn't clear. DiPietro kept it in. puck. Along the right wing board, Murray. Let it go out to clear the zone. Coming back in by Schneider. Donald Sweeney. Product of Harvard University. This is Ted Donato, his Bruins teammate. Murray sends it in. And at center ice, Gord Roberts. Cross ice to David Shaw, 34. That play sent back from the Montreal line by Holland. Now Jamie Huscroft. Dribbles one in on Waugh. That beats Brisebois able to clear. It was deflected out of the zone by Ed Ronan. Shaw up the middle to Polinsky. Bothered by the forechecking of Ronan. Now Haller at center ice. Able to wrist it into the right wing corner. Casey leads it behind the net for Gord Roberts. One of two Stanley Cup championship teams with Pittsburgh Penguins in 91 and 92. He was looking for Donato, but Donato was going off for a line change. And icing is the call against Boston. 16-17 remaining in a scoreless first period.
Hey, Terry Lucas.
Not now.
Oh, that's got to be your new Grand FV6 over there.
I love my Grand Am.
Sporty fun. It's you, Terry.
Not so fast. My Pontiac Grand Am's got standard NLS brakes,
Really?
airbags, leather, all kinds of stuff for thousands less than a quarter Camry.
So fun. Had nothing to do with it.
Don't jump to conclusions.
FIFA International Soccer for Sega Genesis. If it's in the game, EA Sports. It's in the game.
Sure. Unsure. Sure. Unsure. Sure Solid has the most effective wetness fighting ingredient you can buy. So when dryness counts, be sure to be dry.
Brian Sutter in his second year as Boston coach. Bruins were eliminated in 4 games in the first round last year by Buffalo, and this season in the regular season they were 1-2-2 against Montreal. Adam Oates, third leading scorer in the NHL during the regular season with 112 points, trailing only Wayne Gretzky and Sergei Fedorov. Off the face-off, J.J. Daniel carried in the corner, then centered it. Brunet knocked the bouncing puck off the post before the Bruins were able to clear to center ice. Desjardins rinked wide to J.J. Daniel. Now Benoit Brunet with the best chance of the game. He played 4 minutes, no score. Glenn Wesley on the puck, and it's an icing call against the Canadiens.
One of the important parts of this game will be how good each team can do on the rush, penetrating the zone. The Boston Bruins are used to this building. They're used to lining up along their own blue line, whether they're killing penalties or it's even strength. The Montreal Canadiens will have to do the same thing. You do end up with a lot of dump and chase because of that. The next problem is being efficient inside your own end. Here's a look at that last chance for the Montreal Canadiens. Just went by the post. You can see Casey sliding from his left to his right, and that one just barely trickled by the post. John Casey, that man's got some pressure on him. Boy, the press was pretty nasty to him here this morning, and that's a tough situation to be in when you haven't even started the series yet.
Mike Key tried to feed Brunet. That goes the length of the ice. Another icing call against Montreal. 15:46 remaining in a scoreless first period.
Some of the comments in the papers this morning about the goaltending, Sean, they were talking about, well, who's going to start? Is it going to be Riendo? Is it going to be Casey? They talked about the Technicolor 5-hole on John Casey, and whoever starts in net may not necessarily finish. Wow, that's pretty tough from your home press before he even starts.
Well, John Casey learned quickly this can be a tough press town and a tough fan town.
I'll say.
He really arrived in Boston, as we mentioned, with one strike against him because the trade for Randy Moog, who went to Dallas, was very unpopular here in Boston. Moog was a popular player, but had a tough time in his relationship with Brian Sutter. And burdened with much of the blame for the Bruins' exit in 4 games in the first round against Buffalo last year. Don Sweeney in his own line. Here they turned it over to John LeClaire. LeClaire, the key, deflected off his stick. Brisebois kept it in. Now Guy Carbonneau in the corner. Into the circle, broken up by Oates. Ahead to Dave Reed. He pokes it out past Brisebois. Kevin Haller. Content again Montreal. We expect a defensive style of play from both of these two teams.
Well, there's not much doubt about that. Both of these teams are not very high-powered offensively, especially with Cam Neely out of the lineup for the Boston Bruins. That makes a big difference, and people say that Adam Oates is the only guy they have up front. With Ray Bourque in the lineup, back in the lineup, rather, that certainly helps, along with Al Iafrate. But they rely on shoring up on the defensive side, as do the Montreal Canadiens. Their resident superstar is their guy in net. That's kind of unusual. They have some good forwards, there's no doubt about that. Bellows, Danflus, and Muller lead the way. But these guys are not the superstar goal-scoring category, but right there, that guy, Patrick Roy, I'm telling you, it's an absolute mystique when you go up to Montreal and talk about, they don't say Roy, the last name, they say Patrick.
Carbonneau loved it back behind his own net to Schneider. Now Carbonneau ahead to Brunet. He clears past Al Iafrate. Glenn Wesley at his own line for Boston. Played just more than 5 minutes now. Still no score. Roy doubles it around the far board. And it's cleared out by Oleg Petrov. Would have been icing, but Iafrate could have played it before it went past the goal line. LeClaire broke up the play at center ice. Now Petrov, rookie Russian, sent it back behind the net. Iafrate acquired in mid-March in a trade for Joey Juneau. Now Joseph Stumpel took too long to get rid of the shot. Odeline blocked it into the corner. At the point, Roberts kept it in. Odeline lost to Schneider. Played his high school hockey not far from Boston Gardens, Rhode Island, at Mount St. Charles Academy, 50 miles from the Boston Garden. That's running with power in the state of Rhode Island.
And Schneider and Odeline are back together on defense. They played together a lot this season, but they were broken up for a while. They're back together now.
Ed Donato flattened from behind by Kurt Muller, and the Canadiens break into the zone. John LeClaire checked by Shaw behind the net. Roberts tied up by Muller. Petrov in to help Muller. Still no score. 13:40 left in the first period. Now Muller. And Daniel had a wide open net but couldn't control the puck. Petrov walks out in front and he shot it wide. Daniel. Muller. This pass intercepted by Donato. The Bruins scrambling in their own zone. Daniel kept it in. Locked in the circle by Shaw. He's content to take the ice and fall. Best pressure of the game. The Canadiens buzzing around in front of John Casey. Still no score. We'll be back to the Boston Garden right after this.
I'd like to show you something I'm very proud of. It's a guarantee of quality. It's a promise to you that the great Diet Pepsi taste you love will always be at the absolute peak of freshness. It's a new idea called freshness dating. A date stamped right here on the bottom of every Diet Pepsi, which is your assurance that this is the freshest, best-tasting Diet Pepsi you can get. So pick up a Diet Pepsi and taste for yourself.
Freshness dating from Diet Pepsi. It'll change the way you look at soft drinks.
Yo, Mark Dolby. What can I do for you? So that's your hot new Grand Am V6 down there. Looks fun, Mark.
Pontiac's a blast to drive all right, but it also makes a lot of sense.
Really?
Prices on imports like a Gordon Camry are way out.
And Pontiac Grand Am's holding the line?
Thousands left, with airbag and ABS standard.
Well, shoot.
Don't mind if I do.
Hey, nice talking to you, man. Whoa!
We are driving excitement, Pontiac.
There's a new referee. Richard Trottier has taken over. Apparently, Mark Fawcett was injured or isn't feeling well. We'll try to get a report. Mark Fawcett, who refereed the first 6 minutes and 45 seconds, has departed, we are told, with a leg injury. And Richard Trottier has taken the ice. Shot right on from the point by Desjardins. Save made by Casey. Now Bellows, the wraparound, score! Brian Bellows, the first goal of the '94 playoff.
Well, Brian Bellows on the quick wraparound. There are a lot of wraparound goals in the NHL this season, and it starts off the playoffs that way as well. It's tough on the goaltender. Let's take a look at it. Casey will have to move from his right to his left. Look at Casey along the post. There's Bellows in behind. Which side am I coming out? Here I am. Casey runs across, and Bellows goes back to the far side. We'll take a look at it from the overhead. Here's Bellows. Comes out. Casey gets that leg over, but he leaves the far post open. Excellent shot by Brian Bellows.
He scored 33 goals during the regular season, was the second leading scorer for Montreal. And the Canadiens off to a quick 1-0 lead, and already the fans with a mock cheer for Casey as he shot the shot from beyond the blue line. Smolinski. Daniel got it back to center ice. Now in Ronan looks to break. Ronan a shot. Love save made by Casey, and he hangs on.
Well, Montreal comes right back with a chance on net, but John Casey makes a big save. The fans are getting on him already. Let's take another look at this. Here's a shot from the near side boards. Casey gets a clear view of it. Pretty easy save. Boston Bruins are doing a good job of keeping any Montreal forward to get in on a screen for Casey or get there for any rebounds. Casey bobbled it for a second, but no problem on that one.
Scoring on the Montreal goal, Bellows, the first goal of the playoffs from Paul DiPietro and Vincent Damphus at 6:55. And Montreal leads 1-0. Here's Brisebois into the right wing corner. Fielded there by Wesley. He tried to connect with Marius Tchaikovsky, who's just joined the Bruins for the final 4 games of the regular season. This fan favorite. Joined the Bruins from the Swedish Elite League. Benoit Brunet, his shot blocked by Casey, who looks shaky here in the first 7 minutes plus. ABC's coverage of the NHL enters the playoff stage tomorrow afternoon, beginning at 1 Eastern Time, noon Central. It's the Battle of New York as the Rangers host the Islanders. Or St. Louis travels to Dallas. The Stanley Cup playoffs tomorrow, live on ABC. This is one of the most spirited rivalries in the NHL. Rangers-Islanders is right there, too.
When you talk about the playoffs, I think everybody brings up that Rangers-Islanders series before anything else.
Islanders just managed to make it into the playoffs with their late surge, and Florida struggled over the final 10 games of the regular season. Kurt Muller, another wraparound attempt, and the stop made by Casey. Casey still down and prone. Just now back on his feet. They let Petrov walk right to the goal mouth, and Casey held the post. Muller out in front. Great save by Casey. Petrov from point-blank range put it right on net, and Casey had to react quickly, and Montreal is crowding the goal in front of Casey.
Well, there's a confidence builder for you. That was a tough save by John Casey. Here's a look at it. There's Muller out from behind the net. He had a lot of time. Boy, did he put that right on the blade of Oleg Petrov. Petrov, the leading scorer for Montreal against the Boston Bruins this season. That's kind of a surprise. Look at Muller. Look at that. Right through the crowd. Perfect pass on the stick. Casey, excellent save.
John Casey led the Minnesota North Stars to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1991. Has the reputation as a streaky goaltender, and he's on his game. He's one of the best. When he is struggling, he's not close to the elite. Roy around to the near board. DiPietro. He took a check, but got it ahead. Brian Bellows. And a weak shot went through the legs of Sweeney, was turned aside by Casey. 1-0 Montreal, 11.5 minutes left in the first period. Boston is being outshot 9-1 to this point. Bellows. Center ice, Damphus. Across the line, Snyder. The defenseman scored 20 goals this year. He flipped it to the side of the net. It was knocked down by Casey. DiPietro left it for Bellows. His 12th NHL season. Sent to the ice by Sweeney, who took the puck away. Now some skating room for Brent Hughes. As Murray and Stumple with it. Hughes for Murray. Murray taken down in the game's first penalty coming here.
Vincent Damphus, I'm sure, is going to be the player going to the penalty box. He was back-checking on the play. Damphus is, in fact, headed there. You see him going to the box. We'll take another look at it. He's back-checking against Glenn Murray. He's behind him a little bit. You'll see him there. There's Murray with the puck. There's Damphus, gets the arm out and yanks Murray down. Murray was certainly in scoring position there. There's a better look at it up close. There's Murray spun around and right down on the ice. Good penalty for Vincent Damphus to take under the circumstances. Otherwise, Murray has an excellent scoring chance.
So it's the first penalty of the game. Damphus for holding at 9:04. Boston goes to the power play. Bruins finished the regular season third in the NHL on the power play, but struggled down the stretch without Ray Bourque. Only 2 goals in their last 39 man advantage situations.
I'll say that's struggling. That includes 0 for 32 in one stretch.
Iafrate, known perhaps the hardest shot in all of hockey, he rifled one wide. Iafrate and Wesley, the point man. No Bourque on the power play as it begins. Oates, Donato, and Smolinski, the forwards. with Carbonneau filling the penalty for Montreal with Brunet, Daniel, and Desjardins. Puck goes into the crowd, face off in the neutral zone.
Ally Afraidy is an excellent hockey player, and everybody talks about his hard shot, and certainly does have a very hard shot in excess of 105 miles an hour. In the games that I've watched Afraidy play, when he concentrates on just shooting the puck, he is not nearly as effective. That's the part of this game that comes the easiest, the offensive part. He can be a force in all areas of the game if he concentrates. He's big, he's strong, he's extremely fast, and he can take the puck from end to end. So the shooting will take care of itself if he concentrates on the rest of the game.
And the Bruins power play finished third. They were first for a while before that late season power play slump. Bork on the power play now. Flips it toward the net, turned aside by Waugh. Montreal leads 1-0 nearly midway through the first period. Interception by Patrice Brisebois. And he slides it down behind Casey. Bork into Valencia. Dangerous pass across the front of the Boston net. Bork has it back. Down to a minute 2 left in the Boston power play. Boston still with one shot on net for the game officially. Wesley. That's another shot on goal. He was looking for a tip but didn't get it. Ronaldo went to the ice and couldn't play it, and it's cleared away by Brisebois.
Boston still scrambling somewhat. Ever since the Bellows goal, Montreal's done a good job of keeping them back on their heels, and even on this power play, Boston cannot get on track.
Walking in, Wesley had trouble with the puck, and that gave Carbonneau time to slide over and break up the play.
Great play by Guy Carbonneau. Selkie winner a couple times. The best defensive forward makes great play.
And he centered one for Brunet, and he redirected it on goal. Montreal had a shorthanded challenge. Boston might be happy when those final 21 seconds tick off, the way this power play is going. And the fans starting to get restless. It's tied up in the uniform of Daniel. But now controlled by Ron Wilson, 15-year veteran. Slides it in wide of Casey. Brady bothered by the forechecking of Gilbert Dion. Brother of the great Marcel Dion. Here come the Bruins. The power play is over. On boost on the penalty box. Stumble. Checked into the boards by Desjardins. Koski goes in to help. He's bumped by Wilson. They battle for it. 8:40 remaining in the first period. 1-0 Montreal on a goal by Brian Bellows. Stumble, the check. Trying to walk to the side of the net. Desjardins broke him up. Now Daniel Merwalk. Cross ice, and Sweeney couldn't keep it in. Afraidy. Off the Stumble. Stumble shot. And the save made by Waugh. 8:17 remaining in the first period. 1-0 Canadiens.
The day I got my degree from Everett, I could almost hear the sound of a glass ceiling breaking.
We've sent several employees to the Everett program, and I can tell you, it's been a great return on our investment.
For me, it was a matter of pride. A good education is something they can never take away from you.
Bachelor's and Master's business programs are forming now. To find out more, call Everett. The degree of success.
I expect to get a lot out of my next new car. I expect it to come with features that I find important. I expect it to come with features that will make my life easier. I expect it to come at a price I'm willing to pay. Oh, did I mention I want this car today?
See your local Chevy Geo dealers for your special value Corsica today.
Scoring chance in the first period so far for the Boston Bruins turned out to be not a shot on net after all. Wesley gets a shot. Look, right in the middle of the ice. Whoops, it hops a minute. Guy Carbonneau comes out of right field, slides across. Excellent defensive play. The three-time Selkie winner is the best defensive player in the NHL. Showed just why right there.
We saw the effect of the Boston Garden ice. It's a warm day here in Boston. There was some fog in the building this morning when the two teams took their morning skates.
They've had just about everything happen in this building, haven't they?
The lights go out. Yeah. Game's delayed by fog. Steve Hines trying to throw it toward the front of the net. Tied up along the far boards by Brisebois. Hines, product of Boston College. New head coach at BC is former Bruin defenseman and assistant general manager Mike Milbury. stunned Bruins fans and Bruins GM Harry Sinden by leaving the Bruins to become the coach of Boston College. He was expected to take over as GM for Harry Sinden in the not-too-distant future. Daniel's long pass broken up by Donato. And now Collinsky behind. Gets some skating room. Behind, top of the circle. Got the rolling puck over the net. 7.5 minutes left in the first period. 1-0 Montreal. Hughes broken up by Oberline. He crossed the line. Now it's Vincent. Scored 40 goals and 91 points to lead the Canadiens during the regular season. 91 points, 20th in the NHL. And Glenn Murray was offside.
You were talking about Mike Milbury stepping down as assistant GM. I talked to Al Iafrate about that. He said, my first week here, Neely goes down, then Bork goes down, then Milbury quits. He said, did I do all this? I said, no, I don't think so, Al.
It's amazing how important one man can be in hockey. With Cam Neely, the Bruins are regarded as certainly a legitimate contender for the Stanley Cup. Without him, most people here in Boston anticipate a first-round exit by Brian Sutter's team.
And Brian Sutter right now wants a goal by his club. The crowd is down. It's very quiet. If anything, they've been on their team. They've been on their goaltender, and he needs his club to score a goal right now to pick things up and pick the tempo up. Boston still seems very unsure, especially with the puck.
Stumple off to Hughes. The pops off his stick. He's having a tough time just controlling the puck. Managed only 4 shots on goal. Now Wesley rolls it in wide of Waugh. Murray on it. Bumped by Desjardins. Tried to feed Iafrate, but the pass was picked off by John LeClaire. Now Muller. New Jersey Devil. Bumped by Stumple. And continues. The joust the puck along the near boards. Iafrate. Cleared it out to Murray. Murray's pass didn't connect with Hughes. Another ragged-looking play for Boston. 1-0 Canadiens. Under 6.5 minutes left in the first period. Montreal in the midst of a line change. Skating room for Sweeney. And a penalty coming up against Montreal. And as Mike Keane touches the puck, Richard Trottier with a high sticking penalty. Boston back on the power play after this.
Hey, what's this? You've been driving imports for years.
I like the Grand Am more.
Well, yeah, but looks are in everything.
Excuse me.
Okay, so it's fun to drive. Come on.
It's got anti-lock brakes and an airbag standard. And even with a V6, it costs thousands less than a Accord or Camry.
Whoa, so I'm talking to a convert.
It feels good to be driving American again.
Son of a gun protectant. Nothing works better on your car's leather, vinyl, and rubber. It can turn just about anything into a great-looking car.
Nice car.
What, this pile of junk?
Give it the gun with Son of a Gun. And now give your tires a quick kick with one-step tire care.
Sean McDonough with Brian Engbaum at Boston Garden, where Montreal leads the first game of the '94 Stanley Cup playoffs 1-0 with 6:16 left in the first period.
Adam Oates will try and get that draw back to Ray Bork. Oates is excellent on the draws. He's excellent at controlling the puck everywhere. Boston really wants to get something going. Even if they don't score on this power play, they need to get some shots on goal and some chances.
Puck lines up with Bork. He beats Iafrate. And the shot off the shoulder of Waugh. Koski tried to knock it back in front of the net and could. Now Smolinski. Koski. Oates back to the point. Bork. To Oates. With some room. Oates shoots. Blocked into the corner by J.J. Daniel. And Koski struggling to control it. Muller able to work it out. Boston on the power play for another minute and 33 seconds. Only the second game that Iafrate and Bork have played in together. His first game in Boston uniform, Bork went down with a sprained right knee.
And you can see now they've switched sides, Sean, so that Iafrate can take that big one-timer.
Iafrate looking for the tip. Smolinski got a stick on it, but it went wide. 1:07 left of the Boston power play. 5:20 remaining first period, 1-0 Canadiens. Oates, Bork, all kinds of room. He shoots. Blocked by Carbonneau. Bork again, wrister. Deflected. Koski scores!
You can feel the sigh of relief in this building. Let's take a look at it from the overhead. Look at the pick in the middle of the ice. It allows Ray Bourque a little time, but the shot is blocked. Here he'll get a second chance. He throws it at the net. Bourque is so good at that. There's Cherkovsky. He finds the open corner. Good heads-up shot by Cherkovsky. But the key there, 2 shots by Ray Bourque. The first one was blocked, but there was a definite pick play in the middle of the ice in the slot by Al Iafrate. They look to do that. They will alternate that. Iafrate will get his chances to shoot. Bourque will get his chances to shoot, but that man right there, Cherkovsky, a very heads-up play, finding that open corner, and the collective sigh of relief in this building is unbelievable.
Marius Cherkovsky played in only the final 4 regular season games. He's a rookie, native of Poland, has been playing in the Swedish Elite League. And the Bruins hope that he'll help to fill some of the void created by the absence of Cam Neely out for the remainder of the season with a knee injury. He scored 50 goals in 49 games this year for Boston before going out. Bourque and Iafrate the assists on the power play goal at 14:51.
John Jacques Demers was talking about Cam Neely this morning, and he said, we are fortunate, of course, we're sorry that he's hurt, but Cam Neely said from 10 to 12 feet out, maybe the best hockey player in the world at putting the puck in the net. That's quite a compliment, but there's a lot of people who will agree with him there. He had a tremendous season, 50 goals in 49 games, and of course, a huge blow to the Boston Bruins not to have Cam Neely available.
Neely had been bothered the last couple of seasons by a left knee problem. This was injured to his right knee. Under 5 minutes left in the first period. 1-1 the score. Bruins then beat the forecheck. Donato with pressure on Desjardins. Managed to get the puck to Brian Bellow. He has the Montreal goal. And let it fly on Casey from beyond the blue line. And Casey hangs on. Stanley Cup playoff action can also be seen on ESPN2. Tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern Time, Game 1 of an Eastern Conference quarterfinal series in Pittsburgh between the Penguins and the Washington Capitals. The Penguins with more points than any other team in the regular season the last 3 years, 307. Mario Lemieux leads them in action against the Capitals tomorrow night on the Deuce, 7:30 Eastern Time.
A pretty typical playoff game so far. Montreal scored that first goal, and then they came back with a flurry of action, didn't get any more. Now Boston is trying to turn up the juice offensively. They finally got a goal, and they're trying to get something going to build on it in between a lot of tight checking.
Well, now 10-6 in favor of Montreal. At one point it was 9-1. Icing the call as Oderline was first to touch the puck. 4:14 left in the first period. 1-1 the score.
Lyle Oderline, he is a resident tough guy, but what a season this guy has had for the Montreal Canadiens. Last year he had only a handful of points, 16 to be exact, and even this year, at Christmas time, he had 5 points. He ends up with 11 goals and 40 points total. Unbelievable what he has done. He got playing with Schneider for a couple of months. Matthew Schneider, 20 goals this season, great offensive talent. And Oderline fits in very well with him, and Schneider certainly gets a lot of room out there when Lyle Odeline's with him.
Oderline even had a hat-trick this year. His only hat-trick in the NHL on March 9th against St. Louis. Face-off dead even to this point. Battle for control of this one. Ford turned it over. Beyond shot blocked by Stumple. Snyder's shot blocked by Stumple. Penalty coming here against Boston. Cross-checking the call. I believe it's against Ray Bourque.
Yeah, I think it is Bourque who's going to end up heading towards the box. No, it's Glenn Murray. Glenn Murray now in the penalty box. That was in the slot area. Coverage pretty tight inside the zones, as you would expect, especially from these two teams, fierce rivals and playoff-style hockey. They're concentrating on defense more than offense, and it is, after all, a 1-1 hockey game in the first period.
First penalty against the Bruins.
Let's see if we can pick it up on the replay. There it is, the top of the screen. The push from behind. The referees are real tough on those situations. It wasn't a real flagrant or a real tough charge or cross-check, I don't think, by Glenn Murray, but the fact that he caught the player from behind, that gets the referee's attention right away, so he'll sit it out for the next 2.
20% of the time of the power play Montreal scores, while the Bruins have the best penalty-killing unit in the NHL. Tied for first with Buffalo. Muller trying to go cross ice to Schneider. Will bring in from the point. It was cleared away by the Bruins. Odeline and Schneider, the point men. Bellows, Muller, and Damphousse, the forwards. Reed and Oates, Bork and Sweeney scoring the penalty. And the Canadiens offside. Bellows was carrying the puck. Muller was in ahead of him.
Well, the Montreal Canadiens have improved their power play this season. Last year, it was one of their downfalls, but they still won the Stanley Cup. That guy right there, Steve Shutt, one of the assistant coaches, was in charge of the power play. And he was at his wit's end for a while, Sean, earlier this season. That's when he put out Lyle Odeline. He said to Lyle right to the face, Lyle, I hit the bottom of the barrel. Get out there. Lyle laughed. He jumped out on the board. And Lyle Odeline has been outstanding on the power play, and he's out there right now.
Out there with Schneider. Minute 30 left of the Montreal penalty. 3.5 minutes left in the first period. 1-1 to score. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Boston with the home ice advantage. Schneider kept it in. His shot blocked by Sweeney. Schneider couldn't keep it in that time. Minute 10 left in the man advantage. Damphousse gave the puck to Bellows. Bellows with a whack from Smolinski. Now Damphousse back to Bellows. One-timer Schneider. Glove save Casey. He couldn't squeeze it. Odeline. Bothered by Donato along the board. Sweeney got the board, and he cleared.
Montreal with some good pressure on the power play. A couple of shots on net, and Casey on the edge of being booed almost. It's almost like they're waiting for him to fail here.
Driven in by Patrice Brisebois. DiPietro, crowd cheers. The Keane was knocked down. Dion turnaround shot went wide. And Keane took a shot from Iafrate, and the fans appreciate the physical play of the home-standing Bruins. 17 seconds left on the Canadian power play. 2:15 left in the first period. 1-1 to score. Brisebois stopped on the rush by Iafrate, and it's cleared out by Westman.
Boston doing a good job of standing up there. We talked about penetration earlier in the hockey game, whether it's on the power play or even strength. The team on the rush that can penetrate and get some chances will probably be the winner in this game.
Bruins back at full strength. George Roberts had it deflect off the stick of Brisebois. Now Gilbert Dion. Heavy hit from Fred Knipschier. Being just his second shift of the period. On the line with Hines and Marois. Daniel Marois sent it in. Over the head of Waugh. Knipschier. St. Cloud State in Minnesota. Rene bumped by Hines. Marois also there. Game free to Brisebois. Chance to break. That couldn't catch up with Gilbert Dion. Minute 25 left in the period. Benoit Brunet. Into the Carbonneau. He was smashed to the board by Marois. Penalty here. Well, Richard Trottier all of a sudden is a busy man. It's taking over from Mark Fawcett, who started the game as a referee and left with a leg injury. Boarding the call, and it's going against Marois.
Dan Marois took quite a run at Guy Carbonneau. Carbonneau was not a happy man at all. He had several words for Dan Marois as Carbonneau hit it towards his own bench. Here's Carbonneau along the near side boards. Here comes Marois from the blind side. That's what Carbonneau didn't like. Marois just putting a good solid hit on him. He did get the arms up. He got the elbow up on him. He made solid contact all right. He gets a boarding penalty.
So both teams have been on the power play twice now, as Montreal has the man advantage for the second time. Boston scored its goal on its second power play opportunity. Muller, Bellows, Damphousse, Schneider, and Odeline back on the power play. Odeline lifted in wide. Oates first on it. And he slides it out to center ice. Reed in pursuit of Odeline. Muller blocked by Oates. Lugged down to the ice by Schneider. Bellows. Nice play. Odeline from the top of the circle. Put it on. Casey out aggressively. Damphousse with a shot and deflected over the net. It's cleared out by Bork. Less than a minute remaining in the first period. Canadiens don't score. They'll be on the power play when the second period begins. Minute 25 left on their man advantage. Kept in at the line by Odeline. Now Schneider. Brian Bellows has the Montreal goal. Odeline tried to feed down through from the slot. Reed, an excellent penalty killer, broke it up and moved to the red line. 28 seconds left in the period. Minute 5 left in the power play. Down to trip, no call. Wesley. And they do call it. They call, but Richard Trottier blows the whistle. Wesley going off for tripping, and Montreal will have a two-man advantage.
Well, Boston really in a spot now. Adam Oates is the guy headed to the penalty box here. It's going to be a 5-on-3 situation for the Montreal Canadiens to end off this first period. Oates in the penalty box. Now Boston sitting here thinking, let's take a little look at it here. There's the reach by Oates. Pulls the feet out from underneath Vincent Damphousse. Anytime you're reaching like that, more often than not, you're going to get nailed for a penalty. Brian Sutter trying to figure out who he wants out there. Let's take a look at the shot, the chance by Lyle Oline. Look how far he's able to get in. Top of the circle, right wing side. Look how far out Casey was. He has to scramble back, but that second shot never hit the net. Lyle Oline, the top of the circle went low as Casey came charging out. That's a smart play. The toughest save for the goaltender to make while he's skating out is to move those feet and make the save.
So it's Oates for tripping. And a two-man advantage for Montreal. Boston benefits somewhat from the fact that the period will end in 20 seconds and break up this two-man advantage. Also benefited greatly from winning the face-off. 10 seconds left in the period. 1-1 the score. Sweeney off the board, but not out. Sweeney has it back, and that will end the period. So Montreal will have 41 seconds with the two-man advantage when the second period begins. At the end of the first period, the Bruins won, the Canadiens won. Now let's head to our National Hockey Night studios and Steve Levy. Steve?
All right, Sean, thanks very much. We eagerly anticipate the second period upcoming from Boston Garden. As you know, this is not only the only game in town, the only game in the land, the National Hockey League. All the other series will get underway either Sunday, tomorrow, Monday, or even Tuesday. We'll preview the rest of the Eastern Conference. That's up next in this first intermission, including a look at the winner of the President's Trophy, the New York Rangers, which makes them the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. That's next on National Hockey Night, this playoff edition.